IMOCA sail is a very difficult challenge these days, because nowadays we have two biggest offshore races in the world, is the ocean race and the Vendée Globe. And from this year, basically, you're joining two classes together. So you're building the sails that have to handle sailing around the world and being pushed by a full crew.
The main challenge for making these sails for Einstein for the IMOCA 60 was to make them robust, strong enough to go around the world, but also light. They wanted the main to be below 90 kilos.
We can build a very robust sail, but it can be heavy. We can build a very fast sail, but it can be fragile. So to combine those two almost feels contradictory.
One thing we put a lot of emphasis on is fuse points. To be, if there's ever a case, a scenario where the force is too strong, that the fuse points is the stitching. Thereby the crew would be able to bring down the sail, stitch some new webbing back together and keep on sailing.
Recently the IMOCA rule has changed. At least one of your sails must be 100% recyclable. FORTE is our star product. It is 100% recyclable. So at the moment we have a great big advantage over all other sail makers.
Before we deliver the sails to the client, we have to be sure that everything is perfect, that every single detail is in the right place and done in the right way. Because after that, when you put the sails on board, it's a big hassle to take them off, bring them to the sailmaker and modify them. Our goal is to deliver a perfect sail from the beginning.
My ethos with regards to new sails is that I'd like to be present when we hoist any new sail that we produce. It's the culmination of all of our efforts. We really put our hearts and soul into every one of these projects. We try and think like the owner. And as a result, it's the most important thing for me to carry out a great sea trial with him so he understands why we've done what we've done and to make sure that we've matched his requests and desires with ours. A typical sea trial starts out in light to medium breezes, 8 to 12 knots of wind, calm conditions. And we arrived in Sabdolon with 25 to 30 knots and 2-meter seas.
You have to be very confident with your sails when you arrive on the boat and it's 26 knots and you're setting them up for the first time and you're going out with a top-notch professional crew. Because you know they're not going to take it slow. They're going to push it right away from the first second you're sailing.
The trip was a shock for the sails and a shock for the system, but overall for me I'm very happy.
Me as a sailor, I know how tiring it is, how exhausted you are and how hard do you push the boat. So for me it's super important that I can trust in the sail that I have.